What's up, guys? Welcome in. What up? Oh, man. Oh, man. What a day it's been. What a day. Let's have some fun today. What do you say? This is the best time of the whole day. I mean, it's been crazy all day long, so why not have some fun today, right? This is what we get to look forward to all the time. There we go. Trying to get all things up and going here for the live stream. So welcome into the show. I feel like I'm like in a haze today, man.
Till broadcast.
Or what's going on? Thank you, Mrs. Voice of Reason. Hope you guys are doing well on a Tuesday. You used up all your juju on a Monday. So apparently now everybody's just struggling for the Tuesday. I get it. Totally get it. It's okay. We'll have some fun. Coming up, bottom of the hour, we have Richard Battle on the program. We've had him on many times before. He is an author. His latest book, Made in America by Americans, not Americans. Dang straight. So we'll talk with him at the bottom of the hour. We have some other political elections to get to down in Georgia, the runoff election. We have some health things. Do you really trust? Here's the grand question for the day. Do you really, truly, honestly trust the government in anything? I'm not just talking about like COVID. I'm not talking about taxes or social programs or hand-me-outs or help-me's. Anything. Do you trust the government in anything? And if you do, name one thing. We're going to talk about that and ask you the question on the air today.
1 minute till broadcast.
So, that is the flavor of the day. That's what we're all about, trying to get these live streams up and going. We're on Podbean now for our audio. We are on the video for OpsLens app and website and social media. So if you're on there, then welcome. We love you guys. Also on The Next Gen USA. And, of course, on our social media as well. So much to talk about, so much to do, so little time to do it. So let's have some fun. Radio program starting here momentarily.
30 seconds till broadcast.
If you are on the social media, I would appreciate it if you like it out, share it out, leave a comment, say hi, call me a jerk. I don't really care. But let's break that algorithm on social media. Let's do this thing. Hang tight.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
4 degrees.
Fighting for freedom every day.
You as the individual, you have the power. You don't have to join a union. You go in as an entry-level position. You get the experience that you need. And then as you work up, you get better at your job, which means they pay you more. If they don't pay you more, then you go to another company to show what you've learned and what your value is to where you can get more. If they really don't like that, then you can go and start your own damn business because we have a free market, laissez-faire, capitalist society, allegedly, to where you can actually go off and do your own thing.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right it is. Welcome into the program. Boy, oh boy, you used up all your juju for a Monday. Now you're exhausted. You're tired. Wait a second, we're back from the holiday. We have a whole 4 more days to go yet. We're kind of tired. We thought we'd be able to work a day and be able to limp through for the rest of the week. Don't worry, I get it. We're going to help you through that. We're going to help you through that mental fog and that mental haze that you see on a Tuesday. Welcome into the show. This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. We are all over the country. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, however you watch or listen to the show. We love you to death. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. Your Millennial General reporting for duty like we do every single day. Coming up, bottom of the hour, Richard Battle. He is an author. We've had him on the show many times before. We love having him on, and it's been a little bit since he's joined us on the show. Made in America by Americans, not Americans, is the name of his latest book. I love that, too. We are Americans, not Americans. And if you are a can't, I can't do this, I can't do that, then you just need to, what do they say on South Park? You just need to get out, right? So, welcome into the program. We had a lot to get to today. We have some election issues that we'll touch on a little bit with the Georgia runoff that is ongoing. Apparently, Warnock has enlisted Michelle Obama to campaign for him. Does that reiterate the theory that she's going to be running for president in 2024? That would be interesting. We'll get to some election stuff in a bit. I know you're exhausted about elections, so I want to get to this here for a second in the grander topic of the day today. Here's the headline from Fox Business for a second. Oil executives ripped the Biden administration's, quote, completely inaccurate, flat-out lie about the U.S. energy production. Now, as you know, the Biden administration has been attacking oil for the oil companies, the energy companies, for not producing, for not drilling, for not trying to, for trying to jack up prices. It's all the energy companies' fault. It's not the government at all with the high gas prices that we've seen over the last couple of years. That's according to the Biden administration. Now, we know that's a lie. In fact, that's one of the biggest flat-out lies that we've ever seen. And that's the topic that I want to cover today. If you are listening on the live streams, you can leave me a comment. If you are listening on the radio, you can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or leave a comment on our social media. My question for you today is there one singular thing? I'm not trying to be over sarcastic or satirical here. I am truly honest with you. One thing, if there is one thing at all, that you trust the government at all when they say something. Like, I mean, trusting in any way, shape, or form. I'm not talking about your local city council right now, although, I'm sure that many city councils have some issues as well. You go to New York City and see how well that one works out for you. I'm not talking about county commissions. I'm not even talking about your state legislature right now. I'm talking about the federal government and the messaging that they send out to you, the general public, from our federal government. The government that's not supposed to have as much power as it does right now, but it does. Under the idea of federalism that no one seems to want to talk about any longer, with states' rights and the sovereignty of a state and having about 80% of the power, and then the federal government just having enough to be able to collect taxes and do a few things to assist the states that they don't have the authority to do. And we've run down that list many times on what that federalism should look like and what the federal government's duties should be compared to what they actually are. But nowadays, we always look towards the government for the answers. The federal government. Joe Biden, do something. Donald Trump, do something. Barack Obama, do something. George W., do something when there's an issue. And unfortunately, they have their greedy little hands into everything. So I ask you one message that comes out. Do you trust it at all? When they say that the oil companies are the ones that are raping you and pillaging you with their high prices, and why you're seeing $4, $5, $6 a gallon of gas. Do you believe them? When they tell you you must get that COVID-19 vaccine or else you will probably die, do you believe them? When they say that the ongoing war with Russia and Vladimir Putin is the reason for the high inflation right now, do you believe them? This ongoing protest with China right now, and the protests with them because of the COVID lockdowns where they're literally shooting people in the streets or they're locking people out into the apartments to where they cannot get out, they can't go to work. And then the Biden administration says that is the reason for the supply chain issues, which obviously in part it probably is. But is that the full truth, and do you believe them? Because we've had supply chain issues for 2 years now, and it didn't happen for the first year and a half under the Trump administration and COVID-19. It happened after the COVID-19 pandemic when Joe Biden got into office. So when they say these things, do you believe them? When they say that they created 10 million jobs because of, releasing COVID protocol and letting people go back to work, and now we've created 10 million, the most jobs that any administration has ever created, ever. Do you believe them? Now, obviously, there are some basicalities that they'd say that are probably true to some degree, but the falsehoods, the lies, the manipulations that they say are the ones that make us disbelieve the government over and over and over again, to where we don't believe a single word that comes out of their mouth, whether it's Karine Jean-Pierre, whether it's Barack Obama, whether it's Joe Biden himself now as president of the United States, whether it's the head of one of the agencies. It could be the FCC today coming out and saying something just basic. And we're like, I just kind of don't believe what you're saying right now. Now, we're not talking about individually elected officials. If you have an elected official that is Republican, that is trying to fight for the right thing, that has called out both sides of the aisle, trying to clean up Washington, then you know what? There is something to be believed there. But as the official statement from the government of the United States, I tend to, everything they say, believe the opposite. And that's just the cynic in me because of the point that they've pushed us from the lies. And I want to use COVID for just an example. I don't want to berate the COVID-19 vaccines because that's not the point I'm trying to make today. But I want to use that as an example. Obviously, Dr. Fauci has said that the only way that we can ever get out of this COVID pandemic is to everybody get vaccinated and boosted and boosted and boosted. And if we don't do that, then we're going to die in the streets, and those are the people that are going to be dying because they're not getting vaccinated, and they're spreading the virus to everybody else, and they're all going to die. I know I've used that sounder way too many times, and you're probably annoyed by it already, but I'm trying to drive home a point to you right now. Here's a headline from theburningplatform.com, not the most mainstream source, but sometimes you need to step away from the mainstream to understand things that are going on. According to this study, the latest data shows that 58% of COVID-19 deaths in August of 2022 were people who had been vaccinated and or boosted. Based on past figures and the current trends, we can reasonably estimate, this is them saying it, not me, then the number of vaccinated boosted COVID-19 deaths will only rise. In September of 2021, the vaccinated counted for only 23% of COVID-19 deaths. This is what happens when you rush ineffective and dangerous vaccines. Again, that's theirs. It's an opinion blog, but they do give the fact that this August of 2022, 58% of COVID deaths were from people that were vaccinated for the virus. Now, this is truth. That is fact. That is something that actually happened. If you find different sources that counter that, then I would love to see them. And again, you can email them to me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. But if you've gotten a vaccine in any way, shape, or form, then you're supposed to be protected by it. And while they come out with misinformation left and right about how the vaccine's going to protect you from all of the variants, but by the way, go and get your new booster shot because it's going to protect you from the new variant that's out there. And we don't know what variant's going to come out. And just like the flu vaccine and the flu shot, to where they guesstimate what strain of the flu is going to be prevalent this year, to where you have to go and get that one and hope it's going to be the right one. But at the same time, they say you have to get it or else you're going to die from COVID, or go get extremely sick from COVID, or get hospitalized, and you won't get hospitalized if you get the vaccine. We tend to disbelieve. And here's why I get to the point to where I just don't believe a single word that they say in any way, shape, or form. This is a bill that was being discussed back in April of this year, April 4/26 of 2022. It was headed up by Dick Durbin, and this, you can find this, it's right on Congress's website, congress.gov, and for the 117th Congress, Senate Bill 4090. And I've been holding on to this for a while because there hasn't been activity on it. But while I see these lies coming out of the government left and right over and over and over again, whether it's blaming the oil industry, whether it's blaming China, whether it's blaming Russia, whether it's blaming OPEC. Oh, OPEC's decreasing their production. We have to grovel to get more because gas prices are going to go up. Can we produce more? No, it's the evil oil companies that are refusing to do so. These are lies that I'm sick and tired of hearing. When we hear about the 10 million jobs that the Biden administration created and how well they've done with gun safety after 2 weeks of multiple shootings over the last 2 weeks, and then they try to intertwine the terms of assault weapon and semi-automatic rifle as one, then you know that they're lying, or they have a really crazy extreme agenda that they've actually accidentally let slip because they didn't mean to let people know that they're going to try and ban near 80% of all firearms that are on the market today illegally because of a semi-automatic weapon. And for those that don't know, semi-automatic weapon is literally everything out there except for maybe a pump-action shotgun, a bolt-action rifle, or a revolver handgun. Everything else out there is a semi-automatic weapon that is now deemed, according to the Biden administration, as an assault weapon that needs to be banned. So thanks for taking us back to the 1700s, which is what they essentially want. This is why we don't trust them at all. This bill, Senate Bill 4090, as we talk about health, as we talk about COVID-19, as we talk about vaccines, the bill imposes, this according directly off the website, various requirements on dietary supplements, including by requiring the person, an individual or entity responsible for introducing a supplement into interstate commerce to register the supplement with the Food and Drug Administration. Now, Andy, what does that really mean? What that means is if someone has a supplement, say a protein supplement or an herbal remedy to clear a headache by drinking a certain tea, a natural product of a plant. For example, dandelions. I don't know if people know this or not, but if you actually get a dandelion out of your front yard and you boil it and you make it into a tea, it's actually one of the healthiest things that you can do for your heart. Why we have people with heart conditions everywhere, and I have a heart disease. Everybody has a heart disease because no one knows about dandelions, and in fact, it's killed by people that are owned by the American Heart Association and donate to them with different pesticides that kill off dandelions in your front yard because they don't want you to have it, so you can go to the doctor and get a pill. Nonetheless, they want you to register these natural supplements, this powder, this protein, this herbal plant. They want you to register it with the Food and Drug Administration. Andy, why that's a bad thing. The government needs to make sure that it's going to be healthy and not going to kill you and you don't overdose or do something bad with it, right? I'd like to remind you this is the same government that has approved plastic to be in your food if you go to McDonald's. I'd like to remind you this is the same government that went after Taco Bell because they dipped below the threshold at one point for having less than 30% actual meat in their meat in the Taco Bell food. And trust me, I love Taco Bell. I probably donated 30% of my lifetime annual income to Taco Bell because I've enjoyed them so much throughout the years. But the FDA approved that. They've allowed it. In fact, a new study from the Daily Mail has reported that the highly processed and addictive foods that are in the U.S. should be labeled as harmful and redefined not as food, but as drugs, according to the latest study. Donuts, cereal, pizza, and processed food in the U.S. should be redefined as drugs because there are so many chemicals and processed things in them that it's not actual substantial food to nourish your body, but it's considered a drug and addictive and harmful just as badly, according to this study, as cigarettes. That's been approved and allowed by the FDA as food to be sold on the shelves. These are the ones that are saying we need to register the herbal plant, the herbal medicine, the natural remedy. You need to register it for us to approve it, just like we have with these other drugs that are addictive and harmful just as badly as cigarettes.
Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
Bring some reason into your day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I want to clarify for a second. I'm not trying to put down any of the processed foods. Trust me, if you know me, I love my processed foods. Hey, what are we having for dinner tonight? Hey, we're going to have frozen chicken tenders with mac and cheese, baby. That is the Little Voice of Reason's favorite, and I love making it for her, and I kind of enjoy that as well. Totally bad for you, but you know what? I don't really care. I have cut back on my fast food quite a bit over the years as I've gone more healthy, and for those that have listened to the program over the last couple of years, you know that for a month, for a singular month, that's it, I went raw plant-based vegan, and it was great, but to sustain that, man, that's really hard, and I can't do that, and I enjoy my burger way too much. I enjoy my tacos way too much, so I'm sorry. I cannot stick with the vegan diet as much as I would love to because I just don't have that type of ability within me to stick with that. So I indulged during the Thanksgiving break. I indulged with eating this food. But we have to recognize what these foods are. And with how many chemicals are in the U.S. food compared to other nations, other people come here and they're like, what in the world are you guys eating? McDonald's is the prime example. They say that French fries, there's like 8 ingredients in McDonald's French fries overseas compared to like the 30 here in the U.S. Why? And the FDA approves it. They allow it. According to the Daily Mail, these foods, research claims that like donuts, sugary cereals, pizza, and other frozen foods, they meet the official criteria that's established like cigarettes as a drug in the 1990s. That includes causing compulsive use and mood-altering effects on the brain and having properties or ingredients that reinforce addiction or trigger cravings. Wonder why we're seeing the weight go up on average across the nation for everybody? It's because of this kind of stuff. Ultra-processed foods, which include things like soda, chips, pastries, and candies, contain high amounts of unnatural flavoring, preservatives, and sweeteners that has been approved by the FDA. Now, again, whether you like that stuff or don't like that stuff, I eat it, so I'm not trying to bash anyone that does that stuff because I enjoy those things very much myself. I want to take you back to Senate Bill 4090 that's still floating in the Senate that was last discussed in April of this year, referred to the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, and sitting in their committee right now. Under this bill, the responsibility of a person must register with the FDA specified information about each dietary supplement to be offered for sales, including a list of all ingredients required by regulation to appear on the label, the conditions of use, any warnings or precautions, certain claims characterizing the relationship between certain nutrients in the supplement, any disease or a health-related condition, and a responsible person's contact information and the locations of the supplement where it's been manufactured, packaged, labeled, or held. As they say, they need to have FDA approval for anything of a natural supplement. A protein shake, a natural herbal pill. And I wonder if this really came about with, if anybody listens like InfoWars or Alex Jones with all the supplements that he sells, where they're like, hey, you can't be selling iodine as something healthy here. You can't be selling fish oil as something positive here. You can't be selling all these herbs and plants as something natural that could take away from our pharmaceutical industry that's been approved by the FDA that gets kickbacks on all the approvals there as well. You need to have the approval of the FDA to be selling these products to try and ban a lot of these products. Because, as you know, there is a federal law that says you can't actually copyright or you can't patent any type of natural herbal plant because it's natural. You could go out into the woods, you could pick it, you could brew it, you could do your own thing. You can't patent that through the federal government, which is why they want you to register it through the FDA. But the FDA has done such a grand job of making sure we're healthy and that we're stable and that we're intaking the proper things, as that they're labeling things that are classified or should be classified as drugs to be addictive and harmful and compulsory behaviors and cravings and all this other stuff that alters your mind and your chemical makeup in your brain. They've allowed that to be approved as food. Now, with just those two stories there, you can see the priority of what they're really doing when they're trying to look out for you, which is why, again, it reinforces the mindset that no matter what issue the federal government's talking about, we don't believe a single word they say. They could tell us the sky is blue, and I would have to go look for myself because I don't believe a single word from any agency at the federal level. At all. Period.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast, become your own voice of reason, and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. Welcome to the Hooser Media Network. It's been a long time coming, and now it's growing bigger and better than we ever imagined. The Hooser Media Network is so much more than just the voice of reason. It's a network for you as a listener and you as a podcaster. It's a network for any kind of talk on any kind of topic, bringing podcasters together to give you a new way to think about the world, and it's any type of show from entertainment to educational. Check out all of our great programs, like Dr. Devin Verana with If They Knew.
Yeah, and it gives you tangible tools. I mean, I'm sure she just mentioned that some people might be mad at the government. I just can't imagine.
No.
I think there's a little bit of anger in the world these days, but I was listening to Wayne Dyer this morning, and he said, if you grab an orange and you squeeze it, what comes out? Juice. What kind of juice? Orange juice every time, right? It's not going to be apple juice. It's never going to be mango juice. It's always going to be orange juice. So whatever is in us is going to come out when we're squeezed. And so I'm sure you're learning that, like, taking yourself through this process continually just adds more and more power, more and more depth of compassion and joy and freedom and all those good feeling things, because you're clearing that space out.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Now take people, so for anybody listening out there that might have an object of anger, whether it's somebody or something or, objects out in the world these days, take us into some tactical, practical things that they can do. Number one, I'm sure, is to come see you, but what are some other things?
So I skipped that one on purpose when I was going through this, but the first book that changed my life, and I listened to it before I signed up for I listened to her 1 hour Zoom before I signed up for the class. She was interviewing a man who told us about a book called The Four Agreements. And so then when you get into the class, we study the book called Forgive for Good by Fred Luskin. And we went through a process by Michael Brown called The Presence Process. These are all 3 books. And I hate to be this honest, but let me be this honest. You can read those 3 books and know everything I'm going to teach you. But like any good class, I mean, just because I signed up for a class in college, I buy the books. You really need someone to guide you through them.
That, plus tune into Spiritual Smorgasbord with Desiree and Cheyenne.
It is, and we talked about that because then, of course, other things started to happen after that. Of course, that was not my last doctor's visit, by no means. However, we talked about it, and I thought, our ancestors were so smart. They know, whatever ails us, there's a cure for on this planet. We're just not smart enough to know how to use it, but our ancestors were. We need to get back to that. Modern medicine, basically what that is it is what you get from the plant, the healing benefit, just on steroids with side effects.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, modern medicine is considered sexy. It's fast resolving. It's instant gratification. But, and so like plant-based formula, the raw, natural plant-based formula is what is going to work. It's going to be great. It just takes a while. And people want that instant gratification.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of people try
It's been marketed
something.
to them that way too.
It
They're like,
has.
oh, that's the old way. It's going to take you forever. But if you just take this, you wake up tomorrow and you can have whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
my leg is broken, but have some Oxycontin.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, your leg is still severely broken. broken.
Right.
You just can't feel anything.
Yeah. And it's like, so let's go to nature. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know what? There's pain relievers in nature. Marijuana is a great pain reliever.
Yes.
For one. I mean, just
Mentally and physically.
Yes. Well, I mean, but there's other remedies out there. And everything that ails us, there's a cure for on this planet.
This whole room smells like peppermint.
We're all getting cured.
We're all
now.
getting cured right now. It's a beautiful essential oil I bought from a local, I guess you could say, apothecary shelf, but I'm getting healed right now.
Yes, exactly. It is. And it's all around us. We just need to know how to look for it. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of what we were discussing. And that kind of was what started this whole journey. And what I'm very fortunate that, my spouse and I are together on this. It's not just one of us having a spiritual journey. It's that we're doing this together.
Listen to those shows and so much more on our website, where you can find live streaming, links to the podcast, links to social media, more content, and so much more. It's all online at HooserMedia.com.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Tuesday, the Post-Monday celebration, making things happen like we do every single day on the program, making you think just a little bit more. Do we really trust the government with really anything? Why in the world would I need to register my supplement with the FDA? Because the government needs to keep track of everything out there. I mean, it's real quickly, just to wrap up this bill. The FDA, according to Senate Bill 4090, the FDA must establish a system that provides a unique identifier for each registered dietary supplement in a publicly accessible electronic database that allows a user to obtain certain information about a registered supplement. Meaning, they want to talk about all the bad stuff that it could do, that if you drink the certain tea that's an herbal plant, then it could potentially give you, hives or something. And we can't let you know about what the 40 chemicals in your frozen pizza is doing because, that stuff's just there. Red dye number 40 or whatever the hell they call that stuff. Like, who cares the negative consequences there? But this, by golly, you need to know if someone's going to take something that's not FDA approved. This is the FDA looking out for your best interest, right? I think I'll pass on that one, but that's where we're at today. Demonizing the real world and putting up the synthetic stuff. I just don't get it. Let's get into what's trending. What do you say?
What's trending today?
We have a lot of battles to focus on in Washington, D.C. A Republican majority in the House of Representatives maybe can start turning some of this around with not only the investigations on the corruption in D.C., but also working on getting us back on track with normality. And to talk about some of that and more, really happy to have this guy back on the program. Been too long since he's been on here. He's the author of many books, including his latest, Made in America by Americans, Not Americans. That's what it's all about, Mr. Richard Battle. Richard, how are you, my friend?
Good afternoon, Andy. We're doing great, and thank you so much for having us back with you.
No, it's always good to talk with you. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. The question that I posed the first half of the show is there one thing anywhere at all from any agency at the federal level that you trust when they come out with a statement and say this is what's going on? Do you trust them at all?
Well, I don't, because there's been politics interjected in every phase of life, and one of the chapters in Made in America by Americans, Not Americans, is about, is there any place we can go to escape politics? And we have to root the politics out of some of our institutions like we had it years ago, because we never thought about politics every day like we do now. And to me, with politics into everything, it just allows the people that want to control us to exercise power, give us disinformation, and try to control our lives.
Hey, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Just in the last hour, I was a guest on Armed American Radio, a national talk show regarding Second Amendment issues, and we talked about that exact topic, is that while we go about our day every day, we go to work, we maybe go to the bar, go to the grocery store, we bring dinner home for our family and our friends, we chat, we go to our bowling club, we go to the PTA, whatever we do, that average Americans are sick and tired of politics. We're burnt out. We don't want to hear about it. We're fed up with it. Obviously, people try to tune out a little bit more after election season because their job is done. But the problem is that the progressives, the elites, the government has infiltrated politics in so many things in our daily lives now that we can't. Either we can't because we can't get away from it, and it's always there because we're always confused about now what bathroom we have to go to, or what we're allowed to eat or not allowed to eat, or what someone's trying to identify as, or we can't because morally and consciously we can't step away because the battle's always there now, and it's kind of frustrating, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is, and we have to fight it and step back, and it's gotten worse in the last 2 years because I recognized years ago that all legislation and all government action almost was about redistribution of wealth. And now it's been added with the wokeism and the social justice aspects as well. And so everything that's going on is trying to re-engineer our country from liberty, individual liberty that our founders fought for and gave us. And that's what they wanted, was individual liberty from government, not a subjection to government.
Yeah, is that going to be the next battle? We see the divisiveness now because of you're a Republican or you're a Democrat or you're the most evil, hateful, most extreme political organization on the face of the earth because you're a MAGA individual or an ultra MAGA individual, whatever that means. But is that going to be the next battle? Is not the divisiveness politically, but just the divisiveness based on the distribution, based on you're on a government program or you're not on a government program, or you are a socialist or you're trying to go back to traditional values? Is that going to be the next big fight in America, do you think?
Well, I think we're already in it, and I think President Trump exposed what he called the swamp, and the swamp had members from both parties. And to me, the swamp dwellers protect themselves first, but they are generally globalist versus people who want American sovereignty. And so it's not Democrats versus Republicans to me. It's American sovereignty versus being one of 120 or 200 countries just being equal to everybody else under some global government at a certain time. And that's what we have to resist at all costs.
Yeah, we have to resist that. I try to lump up the Democrat Party into two categories. The sheep that just think they're trying to do the right thing because they're the bleeding hearts and they want to help and take care of people, which is why they support the social programs, they support the government programs, because they truly, honestly think that it's going to help individuals with no ill intent. And then there are the elites that are pushing the agenda because they realize that there are the sheeple thinking it's good intention while they're benefiting it from on the back end. Is there still a way and opportunity to try and win over those that think they're doing it for the proper cause, but it's just turning around and going backwards?
Well, I think we're making progress, but to me, the inhibitor of all that is the mainstream media. And I can tell people which media they listen to by listening to them regurgitate facts on that particular type of media. And unfortunately, we've broken into conservative and liberal media, and too often people don't question or do their own research. If people do that, I trust their judgment. And like William F. Buckley said years ago, I would trust the first 535 people in the New York phone book to be in Congress versus the current Congress, because they would have more common sense in their leadership approach and serve as public servants versus rulers.
Yeah, that is true. We're talking with Richard Battle, author of the book Made in America by Americans, Not Americans. You can find his website at richardbattle.com. Let's talk about the elections for a second. There was a lot of emotion that went into the midterms here, a lot of mudslinging, which always happens with elections, but this seemed to be a big one because Joe Biden was literally, as the head of the Democrat Party nationally, was running on the campaign that if you are Republican and if you are MAGA and if you support Trump in any way, shape, or form, then you're now, I love the new term, you're an election denier, that you are the most radically, politically radical person in the country, that you're even borderline a domestic terrorist as well, with the hate rhetoric that came out of the other side. Now that the election's over, has that rhetoric, do you think, calmed down? Or now that you think that Trump has announced his run again for 2024, it's just going to maintain from now for the next 2 years?
Well, I think it's going to maintain. And the ironic thing to me was President Biden came in, said he wanted to unify the country, and in his inaugural address, he divided it. And I did a piece a few weeks ago saying a divided team guarantees failed leadership. And he continues to divide us by color, by economic status, by political thought, versus trying to bring the people together. And I'm old enough to remember when both parties tried to inspire the country as a whole and individually to achieve more and appreciate every citizen's contributions to the country's success. John F. Kennedy, when he said the moon shot up within the decade of the 60s, that was a joint project that every American could get behind. Ronald Reagan inspired everyone to be the best they could be and stated that us being individually better would help the country be better.
Well, you mentioned, JFK mentioned, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. What a change that we've seen, and what an evolution or devolution that we've seen in the Democrat Party since then, because now we don't see a whole lot of patriotism from the other side. Joe Biden will go out there and make a statement. We barely even see an American flag behind him at all. The Democrats are the ones that shame America and are saying that they're not proud to be an American unless their party's in office. Oh, how the times have changed, Richard.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's exactly why I wrote Made in America by Americans, not Americans, because what I realize is our country's greatness over 200 years came from not only famous people, but ordinary people like you and me and everyone out there who were Americans and lived their best life and contributed to the country. And now we have Americans who do not like the country, who want to trash it, who want to cancel our founders and other people. And normally they have not accomplished anything. They criticize others who might have one blemish on a record while they've done nothing but be criticizers. And me, I would rather trust people who contribute to the country's success versus look to people who look at destroying the country and listen to them.
That is very true. That really brings up the mindset of why there's so many higher education establishments across the nation, because isn't it true that they say that if you can't succeed in the industry, then you go to college and you teach it?
Well, yes, but I think it's more dangerous than that from the standpoint of it's much more an indoctrination versus educating on the classics and how to think and how to take challenges and use reason, to use a pun on your show, and use reason to come up with best solutions for us, and having a doctrine that we have to follow without thought. And I talked about the Democrat Party for the last 2 or 3 years. I think their platform is basically trust me and don't ask any questions, because they become indignant when they're questioned about anything. And it's almost like they believe they're entitled to rule over the citizens.
It almost seems like we're going back to the dark ages, where we don't want you to be intelligent or educated. Just trust us and we'll take care of you. The cycle of life. We'll continue this conversation right around the corner here. It's Richard Battle, Made in America by Americans, not Americans. Lots more coming up on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
With Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to The Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring The Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends, or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. As we continue to grow as a radio and TV program, we're continuously working behind the scenes to try and bring more common sense and reason to more patriotic Americans all over the country. That's why we're super excited to be working with the OpsLens team to bring you the voice of reason every single day. OpsLens is a national online network bringing you incredible content all day from hosts all over the country. And each host brings their own unique experience and expertise to the current events, reaching hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans daily. Make sure to check out their website at opslens.com. Make sure to download the OpsLens website and follow them on all of these social media sites that you like so you can watch all their live streaming content, including ours right here with the Voice of Reason. Plus, if you want more of the Voice of Reason, check out our website online at HooserReason.com. There you can listen to the live audio feed of the show every single day. You can read our monthly blog. You can check out our satire infomercials. You can see pictures of what we're doing, upcoming schedule of events, and a heck of a lot more. On the website, you can find our list of radio and TV affiliates in your area. Find our social media links, and while you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. Over the last 2 years, your Voice of Reason newsletter has grown exponentially. It's completely free, and in it, we give you your monthly motivation, upcoming civic holidays for the month, a recap from the show from last month, upcoming guests on the program, along with the latest news from our Hooser Media Network. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is go to the website at HooserReason.com and become the next Hoosier-holic. Finally, follow us on all of our social media sites. With the iron grip control on content from the radical left, unless you follow us, you're not going to be able to see us. It's been an ongoing battle with shadow banning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even our own fans are having a hard time finding our content. But the battle isn't over. We'll continue to bring you the best content we can on as many platforms as possible. You can follow us with the handle at Hooser Reason. No matter what social media site you like to use, you can find us there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, Instagram, TikTok, OurFreedomBook.com, Parler, and of course our website at HooserReason.com. Don't miss it while we give you a heads up on some of the events that I may be attending or speaking at, updates of behind-the-scene projects, or just something sarcastic to try and rile up the left. The battle for freedom is real, and we want to be part of that battle as we want you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Conservative principles happen at the grassroots level, and that's what we're here to help with. And together, you and I can fight back against this virus that's spreading across the nation that is socialist policy, trying to destroy this country. We can bring us back to some constitutional values, some individual sovereignty, and the right for you to be able to make your own choices when you deem necessary for you, your family, and your community. In a world of fake news and information overload, it's time to bring back some reason, common sense, guidance, and a little bit of wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. This is the Voice of Reason.
Fighting for freedom every day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right, reason, common sense, rationale. That's what we're all about here on the program. Last few minutes of the show for a post-Monday celebration, trying to get you back into the groove of things after the Thanksgiving break. I know, after the holidays, it is difficult to do an entire 5-day work week. If you work a 5-day work week, I don't know how many people actually still do that. Most people work 6 or 7-day work weeks now, but if you work a 5-day work week, it's difficult for you to get back into that swing of things. We're going to help you out on the program the best we can here. We're talking right now with Richard Battle, author of the book Made in America by Americans, Not Americans, talking about ways that we can bring this country back unity, trying to work together, which I think in the optimistic glass half full mentality that I always have. I'm the eternal optimist. I know it's okay. It annoys a lot of people for a lot of reasons, but nonetheless, I'm still always going to do it. I think that there are most Americans that have the good vision for the country. that have a good vision for what we want to do, where we want to go, and while we may have different ideas on how to get there, I think the majority of people actually want to do something positive. The problem is that there are some that are pulling the strings behind the scenes that are trying to manipulate thinking and telling people that it's good to do something that at the end of the day we know is not going to be good. And those are people, unfortunately, that have fallen under that mentality. Richard, as we move forward here, there's been such an outcry, as you said, with people that don't have the best intention now with the United States because they want to hate, because they are the Americans, that we're horrible, that we can't do anything, the government just needs to do it for us. How do we fix that? Is it the K-12 education system? Is it the conversations at the dinner table with our kids? Is it bringing patriotism back? What is it that's going to wake these individuals up and realize, hey, wait a second, yeah, I do have the ability to do anything I want to do in the country that's paved with, the streets paved with gold and the opportunity for all?
Well, I think you're exactly correct, and there's no silver bullet, unfortunately. K through 12 education and even higher education is essential for us to return civics and citizenship and talking about the founding and the freedom and liberty compared to what we're seeing now, for sure. I think it's very important that each of us continue to do what we're doing to contribute to the country. And as I suggest, when we're frustrated, we think that we can't do anything. And we think there's so many things that need to be done, it's overwhelming. And so my suggestion for all of us is pick one thing that you have a passion about and get involved on that and make a difference, whether it's school board, city council, legislature, federal government, whatever it is, make some kind of difference and contribution beyond voting. And if we do that, and enough of us do that, we will stem the tide, because I believe we're in the right on this, because I think most citizens want the same thing. They want to have a good country, have a good economy, make a good living for their family, enjoy the freedom. And so most people would like to do that and leave the politics out of it. So if we can show them the way to get to that and get politics out of it, I think we will turn the tide and have more people join us.
Richard, it's difficult to do when I'm confused about what bathroom to use.
Well, some people are confused about that. Thankfully, I'm not.
Thankfully, we at least know what restroom to go into in the public restroom, so there is that.
And I think the insanity has gone so far, and it's going to go further in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And so that is going to drive some regular Americans to the other side, because there's going to be people that wake up and say, this is not the Democrat Party of my parents and grandparents. This is something totally different. And I believe in America, and I want American greatness for my kids. Another topic I talked about a few weeks ago was there's no kid that ever grew up wanting to be a socialist. When we look at children, they innately want their way in everything, which is liberty. And they have to be schooled in how to conform to a society. And unfortunately, when you go past the liberty in a republic and go to a totalitarian socialist, that's well beyond from a control standpoint. But all kids want liberty. They want that freedom. Yeah. And that's what our founders gave us, and that's what we are responsible for giving our children.
That's a great point. I love that. The natural raw instincts that just humans have is just to have our individual liberties and just to be able to live the life that we want to live on our own manner without someone telling us what to do. We have to be trained. We have to be brainwashed. We have to be conditioned to conform to the way that they want us to do so, because that's not the natural state of things to be. I love that. It's Richard Battle, Made in America by Americans, Not Americans is the book. RichardBattle.com is the website. Richard, always good to talk to you, brother. Let's get you back on here again soon.
Thanks so much, Andy. God bless America.
Hey, God bless America. I love it. We'll get you back on. Always a pleasure there. Until then, we're back at it again tomorrow for the middle of the week. Podcast up in just a little bit. Until then, be your own voice of reason. Be that catalyst for change. Until then, this is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you on the radio. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.
Hey, it's Joe Pags coming up. Is the Speaker of the House job already Kevin McCarthy's, or is there going to be a fight? We'll have Andy Biggs on about that, plus Carrie Lake out of Arizona, and Mike Davis with who this special counsel guy is, and more on the Joe Pags Show. That, plus, of course, a big part of the program is you calling in. Look, we can agree, we can debate, we can yell at each other, we can sing a song together. We do it all right here on the Joe Pags Show, Monday through Friday. Today at 5 on the Big Talker, 1480 AM, KQAM.
Are you trying to game plan for retirement on your own? Retirement is a team sport. Market Advisory Group is ready to join your team. Our in-house advisors, CPAs, and attorneys are ready to plan and work with you. Nobody can play the game on their own. With the team at Market Advisory Group, together we can get you across the goal line of retirement. To schedule a team huddle, call us at 316-252-8707. That's 316-252-8707. Market Advisory Group, your total retirement team.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisor.
The best talk radio around. This is a Steckline Communications Station, AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud. Your latest news on KQAM.
From the news desk, I'm Andy Hooser. Well, if you're single and looking to mingle, the city of Wichita has been named nationwide as one of the best cities for singles in the nation. As according to Wallet Hub, Wichita has been ranked 74th overall in the nation with a score of 51.52, ranking 15th for economic issues, 167th for fun and recreation, and 81st for dating opportunities. The study came from WalletHub.com, comparing more than 180 U.S. cities across the dating friendliness indicators, including the population of singles, those that are registered on online dating opportunities, and the average price for a two-person meal. In other news, the long-anticipated announcement for the opening of Topgolf in Wichita has officially been announced. As Cake News reports that according to the Topgolf website, they say the Wichita location at the southeast corner of 29th Street and Greenwich Road will officially open this Friday, December 2nd. According to Spencer Stewart, the spokesperson for Topgolf, they say they are excited to bring the signature multi-level experience to the city. The company also says they are still looking to fill positions before the big day. News on KQAM brought to you by Truck Stuff. Whether it's your camper, trailer, or both that need hauling, Truck Stuff has you covered. Online at truckstuffks.com or call it 316-264-1908.
It's Tuesday, November 29th, and the Wichita State Shockers welcome in the 7-0 Missouri Tigers to Charles Cook Arena for a 7 p.m. tip tonight. The Shockers stand at 4-2 and look to defend their home court against an SEC team. Wichita State is 14-7 against SEC opponents since the 05-06 season. Craig Porter enters the game leading the Shockers in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. The college football playoff poll will be released tonight heading into conference championship games with Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and USC, expected to be the top four. From the Sports Desk, I'm Sasha Bushka.
The Sports Desk brought to you by Burwell Roofing and Construction, 794-3430. Recent hail damage to your house, 794-3430. Burwell Roofing and Construction, 794-3430.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did just that and more with our new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. By using pan-seared chicken, our secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickle chips, all on a buttery brioche roll. Because if no one messed with the classics, you'd never have a chicken sandwich this good. New Chef's Chicken Sandwiches from Panera. Only $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/delivery info.
Mays Motors is home to a wide selection of cars for every member of your family, from the teenager to dad. At Mays Motors, you will get a laid-back but informed experience. You'll have the chance to make sure the car is ready and right for your life without the aggressive buy-now experience at other car dealers. For the above-average car buying experience for the average person, Come to Mays Motors at 5203 North Mays Road in Mays, or call Mays Motors at 316-364-4196.
Why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because our Sleep Number 360 smart bed is really smart. It senses your movement and automatically adjusts to help keep you both comfortable. Plus, it's temperature balancing so you stay cool. It's even smart enough to know exactly how long, how well, and when you slept, and to help you get almost 30 minutes more restful sleep per night. Sleep Number takes care of the science. All you have to do is sleep. The Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 smart bed is only $899 plus special financing. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
This is the Big Talker, KQAM. Your home for live talk radio all day long. Todd Starnes, weekdays 2 to 4.